This is your before and after story. Prepare for an incredible career in nursing. At Southeastern College, experience expert hands-on training. Learn real-world skills in our professional lab and simulated settings. And train for opportunities as a practical nurse, registered nurse, or career advancement with our RN to BSN program. At Southeastern College, your future is bright. Visit sec.edu to get started.
Welcome to Lanterns Live. It's Ralph, and today is going to be kind of a kickback one. I didn't have anything scheduled for this week, but I wanted to make sure that I got a show in, just because YouTube likes that. Also, I don't want this page to have off weeks and times that you don't see me. So here I am. Hopefully I sound good. I have no guest today. I am heading out tomorrow, which would be a normal live stream day. I'm heading out to be an AD and on-set still photography for a movie that my friend is directing and producing. And so actually you can see my luggage. I'm getting ready to take off, and I have my Green Lantern luggage tag. So there you go. And today I decided to wear my indigo ring. I don't know why. I never wear indigo. Let's see here. So what I did was I asked for folks to reach out onto a recent post I did on YouTube. Hold on. I'm just getting word from Vactor, who is sending me messages while I'm doing this. But it's Green Lantern related, of course. So Vactor just sent me a message. I want to tell you this before we get too far. This is a busy week for me. I did want to get a show out, but I almost have the rest of the month scheduled out. So if you go to Green Lantern, the YouTube channel, and look at upcoming streams, you'll see my schedule laid out, with the exception of, I believe, next week. I'm going to try to do a show next week. It may or may not be Justice League New Frontier. I'm not sure yet. This show, on the other hand, is completely it's going to be total kickback session. So hopefully we get some people in here to chat, because I'm going to be answering questions. Today's episode is a Q&A episode, but Vactor is actually sending me questions that he wants me to bring up to Jeremy Adams. Jeremy Adams is showing up at the end of the month. On Wednesday, the 27th, I'll be doing Green Lantern 26. And then the following day, I'll be interviewing. I'm going to have a conversation with Jeremy Adams, the writer of Green Lantern Corps, Green Lantern the Animated Series, episodes Blue Hope and Scarred. I Like Scream and Ice Cream is here. Says, sup, how's it going? If you have any questions for me or about Green Lantern or anything in general, drop those in the live comment chat. I will answer those. But I posted that I was doing this episode yesterday, and I got some questions on that post. So yeah, there's that. This is what this show's going to be. Totally kickback. I have something to show you as well. I have a new item in the Lantern Live shop over at Fourth Wall, which the link is down below in the show notes, and you can find the links everywhere on this channel or at lanternslive.com. And here is the new design that is popping up now. That's right, I did it. I saw Radu's coffee shop mugs online, and they weren't as comic accurate, because I was ready to buy one. We saw when Donnie was here, Emerald Enthusiast was here. He was drinking out of his Radu's cup, and I'm like, man, that's great. I should go get one. And I got it. And I'm like, it doesn't really look right. I don't know which issue that design was based on, but this is more based on the new run, which was Green Lantern #8 by Jeremy Adams. So I took it and I based this design off of that, and I believe it's a little bit more comic accurate. So go check that out. This is all very last minute. Fourth Wall was down for a little bit today, so I wasn't able to get all the products up. But you could get there's a couple of different styles of coffee cup. This one being a two-tone cup. There's a regular cup, a coffee mug. There's a tumbler with a handle, and then there's like an enamel mug. So check those out. I'm going to set up the shop a little bit more after I'm done here. And yeah, first question coming up hot. How would you rank every main Green Lantern? I think you mean rank. Because I don't know if I would rank to any Green Lanterns. I'm sure there's material out there for me to rank them. But I would rank them. So here's the thing. Kyle Rayner's my number 1. Hal Jordan's my number 2. I like Guy Gardner, John Stewart. Oh, no. You know what? Let's do this. Kyle, because these questions over here in the chat are like putting me on the spot. So Kyle's number 1, Hal's number 2. I'm going to go Jessica, then Guy, then John, then Simon, and the Teen Lantern and Ellie, if she's even considered a Green Lantern, kind of down at the bottom. If everybody, Nort has a swimsuit issue, that's could be. Yeah, he meant rank. I got it, but I still liked it. I liked it just fine. So keep posting questions over there. Thank you everybody for joining me. I'm trying to think of what other news we have going on. Lanterns has kind of been quiet. We got that Ulrich Thompson is finished. He shaved his mustache. He's done with Sinestro for now. There's been a lot of talk online. People are complaining about how old Sinestro is. Like, the dude looks fucking younger than Ethan Van Sciver's drawing of Sinestro. So who gives a shit how old these guys are? So stop. I'm tired of the speculation. I'll say that now. Since I don't have a guest today, I'm going to be like kind of, I'm a little untethered. Usually when I have guests on, I'm a little more polite and kind, but I'm just going to say, people on Reddit, dude, stop crying about Hal Jordan. He's going to die. They're going to do Hal dirty. Everybody keeps saying Hal's going to die. He's too old. He's going to just, all right, everybody, relax. We haven't seen a single frame of footage. We've seen one image and a few leaked ones. That's it. Listen, once we get that trailer, and if there's something you don't like in the trailer, we can critique it and we can discuss it, and we will on Lanterns Live. So hit the bell icon. But I'm just saying, like, everybody, relax. We've been through this before. We finally made it through Ryan Reynolds. He didn't make fun of Green Lantern in Deadpool 3, which is a miracle. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, on the other hand, for some reason ripped on Green Lantern. But let's all take a deep breath and be happy that there's Lanterns coming, and it's more than a movie. We're gonna get like something like 8 hours, probably roughly a little less than 8 hours of live action Green Lantern, our first ever live action John Stewart. Like, breathe. Breathe. Don't worry about the ages. Everyone was concerned that Nathan Fillion was too old. Guess what? Nathan Fillion was fucking awesome in Superman, and people tend to love it. Universally loved. I don't think there's anybody who, like, I hated Guy Gardner. No. You love Guy Gardner. Everybody loves Guy Gardner, and Nathan Fillion did that perfectly. So everybody breathe. Let's all relax. Lanterns is going to be fine. Maybe it won't be. I don't know. But right now, just be happy that it's coming. Okay. So I did that. Let's see here. Yeah. I thought I text you the new thing. Was Will, send me whatever it was. And shit, Will, if you want to join me, like this is just a really loose kickback episode. So if you want me to send you an invite, if you feel like joining me, I'm going to do that right now. I'll just send you a link, and you could tell me instead of the link you're talking about, if you feel like it. Listen, no pressure. You don't have to do this, but if you feel like joining me, pop in, because this is loose. I'm kind of flying off the handle with this one, a Radu's handle. So, yeah. I'm gonna star some of these comments in here, and I am going to get to these in a second. Oh shit, man, dude, you showed up fast.
Yeah, because I think it's news that you will enjoy.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to see if it's still up in my other browser. It is. It's a casting call from Night Edge Media for the My Adventures with Green Lantern story.
Oh.
The casting call has a couple names in it, 3 names in it. I just dropped a video on this that I've been working on for a few hours.
Okay. So everybody head over to Green Lantern's podcast on YouTube.
After this.
Okay.
It says Jessica Cruz. They're looking for an actress 18 and older who will play/voice 14 to 15-year-old Latina. The role will sing in the series. Looking for talent who can sing. Jessica had a normal childhood. She played softball, hung out with her best friends, Kyle and Nikki, and stayed out of trouble. But Jess's life collapsed when everyone around her hit puberty and got mean. Betrayed by friends and bullied out of softball, Jess withdrew. Better to be small and safe than to be yourself and get hurt. We meet Jess at the top of high school, a chronically anxious freshman who starts the year hoping to keep her head down and get by, but who ends up being chosen by a magic ring to be the cosmic champion of all life, the Green Lantern. Despite her fear, anxiety, and low opinion of herself, Jess will find that she does have the tenacity and courage to meet the challenge to become the world's greatest hero. Again, it says with her best friends, Kyle and Nikki.
Okay, so I'm going to play Reddit right now. This is me playing Reddit. Someone's going to see that, and they're going to be like, "Oh, Kyle is Jessica's best friend, and her best friends get shot and killed in her origin story. So I guess Kyle Rayner's going to be killed."
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think so in this.
Do you even think it's Kyle Rayner?
I do, because it would be very weird to do a Green Lantern story and have Jess be around a best friend named Hal, and then it not be Hal Jordan.
Right.
And obviously in my video, I'm pitching pretty hard that it's got to be Kyle Rayner. But like one of the real cool things, I was trying to rack my brain earlier on who a Nikki could be, and I couldn't really think of one. But Reddit being Reddit, there was somebody that I had to give a shout out to. I'm trying to find. They found a character from New Earth named Nicole Morrison. And at one point, Nicole Morrison, who is a 14-year-old, just like Jessica Cruz's age in the show, she was born and raised in the U.S. When she was 14, she actually got abducted, and she was the host for Adara, the entity of hope. So you could have Jess being Green Lantern in training. Mm-hmm. You can have this Nicole Morrison be the Blue Lantern of hope. That is like will hope and help her get through and over her fears and anxiety. Obviously, with Jess, there has to be some Yellow Lantern because they're in everything with Jess. And then with Kyle, you can have Kyle bounce around from spectrum to spectrum to spectrum based on what episode it is, kind of showing her the ropes and going through these different emotions and how to overcome things. And now I'm even more hyped for this dang cartoon than I was a little bit ago.
We'll see. So here's the thing that got me is they're looking for someone to play and voice. And we know James Gunn is doing both. Usually when it comes to voice acting, you don't have to match the age of the person you're playing.
No, and I think that I don't know if it's official or if it's just the note they put at the bottom, but I think Caleb Williams, who wrote this for Night Edge Media, he said at the bottom that he believes that this is an Elseworld story.
Okay.
So it's not going to overlap with the greater DC, because that was what I was like. I was freaking out. I got a little shaky, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I was like, wait, we might get a casting call for Kyle at some point. But I think this will just be like kind of like Jack Quaid gets to be Superman for My Adventures with Superman, and it doesn't have a direct crossover with like the movies or anything.
Yeah. Sounds great. Sounds great.
Either way, I was just at work, and then boom, this article went out. This guy, he's my friend, and he didn't even tell me that this was dropping. No heads up at all. I just logged into Reddit and saw somebody else post it. And I was like, man, I could have already had a video and everything already made, ready to go.
Right. That's awesome, though. I mean, I didn't really watch My Adventures with Superman. I hear it's good. I put it on when I was like on a sleepy Sunday, and I fell asleep during it. The first episode, never picked it back up. Same with Creature Commandos. I need to find a time to like sit down and watch these things. But I'm excited for the Green Lantern show, and I'll cover each episode as they drop, 100%. So I'm looking forward to that. I had some questions from folks. I'm going to bring those up. I'm glad you're here because I'm not an expert. And I don't know if you would know the answer to this either.
I'm an expert in nothing.
I'm gonna do this hard question first. It comes from Casey 356 on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So here it is. Mon-El slash Largand of Daxam, a member of the Legion of Superheroes, once had a Green Lantern power ring. Who issued it to him? And what sector was he assigned, and for how long was he a Lantern? Yeah, I don't know either.
I regularly tell people there was like a 12 to 13 year gap where I was done reading comics because of a bad experience I had at my local comic shop. So this probably dropped within that time frame, or it's way before my time. But if you know the answer, definitely wait a little bit and then put it in the chat.
I looked up Mon-El, and the artwork seemed fairly modern, so I'm not sure what era this was, but it feels like it's within the last, 15 years or so. If he's from Daxam, he's a Daxamite, which means that's where Sodom Yat was from, which was Sector 1760. If he's a Legion of Superheroes is an Earth-based thing, right? Or is Legion of Superheroes a different dimension? Because if that's the case, 2814, I'm assuming, would be... That's the thing I don't understand. Maybe you could help me answer this, because I was thinking about it. If Mon-El sounds like he's a Kryptonian, would he be part of 2813? Because that's where Krypton was. And also, I don't know if this has ever been explored. Do you have to be from that sector to guard that sector? Or can you be a Lantern in a sector where you aren't from? I guess Joe.
Yeah, I think you have the ability to go police a sector that isn't the one that you are from.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's on a temporary basis or it's just mission by mission, but you have your home sector and then you have these other ones you go to.
Yeah, if you're honor guard. Another thing, also, I was as far as who issued it, no idea. Maybe it's Sodom Yat. Is Sodom Yat still sitting in that sun? Do we know? Have we heard from Sodom Yat since he went into that sun?
It's been a hot minute.
Era? Yeah, it's been a while since I've heard from Sodom Yat. I don't know how long he was a Lantern, but apparently it was a very, very short time in the books. I looked up as much as I could. But again, I do not know. And if anybody knows, go ahead and pop that in the comments, because this was the hardest question I got, for sure. Let's see here. Let me get another. I'm going to get another question here because I got some fun ones, and you can answer these as well. These are more personal.
I'm just trying to make sure I load up the video and we drop a like.
All right. What gravitated you towards Green Lantern as compared to other comic book characters groups? Also, would you want to see Stuart and Hawkgirl form a relationship in the DCU? This is from Chris and Ralph Productions. I highly recommend you follow them. It's another Ralph on the internet. So go follow them. It's crazy. It's a name that I think 2 years ago not a single baby was named the entire year.
Oh, I mean, it's about to make a comeback.
Yeah, you think?
Oh yeah.
So for me, Green Lantern. I mean, I mentioned that it was Super Friends that got me into it, but there was a spinner rack that had a couple books that I got on a trip up to Washington, and one of them was Green Lantern #1, volume 3. I don't want to say the writer. I'll say that the Broderick was the artist. So 1990 was the first Green Lantern. I knew Green Lantern from Super Friends, and I liked it. And then I picked it up, and on the cover was John, Hal, and Guy flying through a canyon, and I was like, "This is the coolest thing." And it was a good jumping on point for me. So that's basically it. As far as Jon Stewart and Hawkgirl, listen, man, if that means more Jon Stewart in other stuff, I'm all for anything. So, what do you think? You think Jon Stewart and Hawkgirl? You'd like to see that, right?
I mean, I'm pretty sure Isabella Merced has already pitched it herself as the live-action Hawkgirl, saying that she would like to be, potentially in a relationship with Jon Stewart, which I assume was strictly because it's Aaron Pierre, and he's a stud of a dude, and, what lady wouldn't want to be on screen smooching it up with that guy? He's jacked. Again, he's got Green Lantern. Like, it's all wins over here.
I remember grabbing a picture of him on my phone, walking over to my wife's TV and showing him and being like, "Hey, this guy's Jon Stewart."
Yeah.
I could sense that she was on her phone looking at more pictures.
Yeah. It was Lindelof got mine interested in the show, and Aaron Pierre definitely has helped maintain the interest.
Yeah. I'm excited, man. Let's see here. Speaking of what got you into Green Lantern?
I mean, for me, it was, I grew up, my father blessed me early with just reading different things to me, like for bedtime stories, and that's how I discovered like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. But he also got into like fantasy stories and not necessarily comic books, but it was like superhero type stuff. And I went to a friend's house one day, and I had seen like the Justice League animated show, the Batman animated show, which is like one of the best ever. Yeah. And so I was aware of like heroes and villains in the superhero world and all that. But I went to a friend's house, and they had like 5 or 6 comics laying around, and my favorite color at the time was green. I just saw this really cool looking dude who just had these like awesome green, almost wrestling type boots on, and he had cool gloves, and he had this awesome mask on, and I was like, man, I could get into that, but there's some hero stuff I just really don't enjoy, like how super is this superhero? When I opened it up and I started reading it, and I learned that like he's making things by using his mind, but without the ring, he himself doesn't have like super strength or super speed. And I was like, this is like the first realistic superhero to me that I read. And just from there, it was like, well, this is, issue number whatever. Like, what's the one before this? And then I wanted to get to the beginning, and then I wanted to get all the way caught up. And then it just opened my world to all the other stuff. But because of that, I just think I've always stuck with Kyle as like he brought me into this. That's going to be my guy for forever.
Yeah. Kyle's my dude. Here's the thing. Okay, so I fill in. Hey, Phil, how's it going? Where would you direct someone new to Green Lantern to begin learning the story? I have a few answers. If you want to read comic books, read Jeff Johns' Secret Origins. It's the origin story of Green Lantern. It has atrocities. It's a standalone book in the middle of the Blackest Night series, but you can read that as a standalone. It's a really good. If you want to go the comic books route and start diving into this, almost 80-year history or something, almost 90 since Alan Scott. Do that as far as comic books. If you want to do the easy route, watch the movie. It's a Cliff Notes version of what Green Lantern is. You get to see the origin in live action. Not the greatest movie, but it's nice and short. If you don't want to do that, Green Lantern First Flight, which is a great animated movie that gives you the origin of Green Lantern really quick, and then kind of shows you basically what Green Lantern is. You could follow that up with Emerald Knights, which is a series of like 5 or 6 shorts. So that's great. You can watch those. For a while, they were free on YouTube, but I'm sure you can track those down. Hopefully, you can track down First Flight and Emerald Knights. And then
I think I started a playlist on my channel of the free with ads YouTube ones. There's at least 2 in there for sure. I don't know if Beware My Power is, but the older ones are. Yeah.
When you're just starting off, though, I would say First Flight, Emerald Knights. Give those a watch. They're real easy. They're fun. Christopher Maloney plays Hal Jordan in the first one. Nathan Fillion plays Hal in the second one. And then jump right into the series, Green Lantern, the animated series, which is probably the best like Green Lantern story outside of the comics. And then if you like those, Rebirth. Rebirth on. Just keep reading issues of Green Lantern. What do you think? What do you think as far as like a jumping on point to someone who just wants to know about Green Lantern in general?
Here's what I would tell you, and it's similar, but it's different. Obviously, most people believe that the Jeff Johns run is the definitive like Green Lantern story. Yeah. It's a lot. There's a lot of issues, a lot of thick books you can get for the Jeff Johns run. If you're looking to sort of like dip your toes into the water and figure out if this is something for you, I recommend 2 quick steps. Step 1, turn on Green Lantern, the animated series, and watch that. I think start to finish, it is the best bang for your buck Green Lantern story. It's visual. It's something where you could just be at home for a little bit. You got 20-something minutes to yourself. Turn it on. You could, watch while cooking or cleaning up the living room or whatever. Do your chores, make the lady happy while you're also getting inundated in Green Lantern information. And then from there, when you finish watching the show, and it won't take you very long to get through it, jump onto the current modern day Jeremy Adams Green Lantern #1. And the reason I say this is because we are 25 issues in currently, I think, or right around there.
Yeah, we're 25.
You will be able to catch up with the current, run. You'll catch up with everybody else. You'll be at the same stage that everybody else is. And if you go online and you're looking to chat about specific issues or whatever on like the Green Lantern subreddit, there's a new thread every single time a new comic comes out where people just talk about this comic issue that just dropped. So you'll be able to chat with other fans. If you're confused about something, you can post your questions. People will answer them and help you out. If you go through that experience and you're caught up and you're like, I really do feel like this stuff is really, really cool, and then you want to take that deeper dive, you gotta go to Jeff Johns and you gotta read through that. That's like, but I just think you start small, and then if you feel like you're getting that itch, then you got to go big after that.
The series is great too because it has a lot of stuff that Jeff Johns introduced: Red Lanterns, Orange Lanterns, almost Yellow Lanterns. We also get the Star Sapphires, and
I just watched their episode again yesterday or the day before.
That's about it. And there's a tease for the Black Lanterns, but if you watch that, you'll get enough of what you need to get into Jeremy Adams' run. I think that's a really good way to go. Asked by, where was that? Liz. Would you react to Green Lantern, the animated series 2012? On the channel, it would be tough because of copyright stuff. I would get squashed. I wouldn't mind doing a whole run, like maybe like next year, like after Lanterns is done, do a review of each episode of Green Lantern, do 26 weeks of Lantern coverage. Maybe it's like a second show. Maybe it's like a Saturday morning cartoon sort of. We do it every Saturday for 26 episodes, and you guys can come watch with me. I don't know if I'd be able to play the footage live without getting dinged. But I mean, listen, I love the series. I'll watch it whenever. But if that means I can only just like talk about it after I've watched it, that might be something that I do. It really may be something that I do. Because I think when Lanterns comes out, I'm assuming it'll be broadcast on Sundays. First thing Monday morning, I'm going to be covering that series, but I still want to do my Wednesday live shows like on a regular rotation too. So we're probably going to get about 2 episodes a week when there's like shows out, all these Green Lantern shows that are coming out.
It will be the Sunday night show.
Yeah. Let's see here. Speaking of Green Lantern animated series, Mark asks, what would you most have wanted to see from season 2 of Green Lantern the animated series? Sinestro as a Yellow Lantern, I think, would be tops.
Yeah.
I think the idea was the first half of season 2 was going to be Sinestro Corps War. The second half was going to be Blackest Night.
Yes.
I think that would be great. I don't know, like a lot of people would have to die for Blackest Night to happen, because the whole thing with Blackest Night, and the thing I love about Blackest Night is like you have Martha and Thomas Wayne in, and you have Jonathan Kent, and you have like all these characters who have died over the years now have come back, and they're just nasty, zombified superheroes. So if you do Blackest Night in Green Lantern animated series, how do you have that impact? There's not really a lot of people that die in Green Lantern the animated series. There's the character at the very beginning of episode 1 that Razor kills.
Yeah.
Along with Zelaya Sox. So it's like that's one person who sacrificed himself, played by Kurtwood Smith. He died like protecting his planet, making sure people were clear. Like the Planet Eater was eating his planet.
Yeah.
So things like that, but I don't know if that would have the impact. You'd have to like really create like a bunch of people in the first half of season 2 to like kill off, to like bring back as impactful characters. And since we didn't like meet Abin Sur in the series, that might be kind of tough to do too.
Maybe they would have gone the route of not involving so many Lantern deaths, and they would have just gone for the big shock value, like Batman, Superman, The Flash, like those types of characters.
Yeah.
You know, or they could have made some original characters. You know, they went to the well with Aya and Razor, and both of those were great additions to it.
Right.
I think for me, that's what I wanted to see the most was Sinestro getting more his due as a Sinestro Corps member.
Right.
And then on top of that, it was being so surprised at how much I was enjoying where the Razor and Aya story was going, and being able to see where that was going to go for season 2 would have been like the other thing I was really looking forward to.
Now with Jeremy Adams' run, I wouldn't mind seeing those gaps filled.
Yeah.
I want to see how Razor ends up where he is.
Yeah, I normally try to at least like every comment that I get, and I had to avoid one today where it was like, oh man, just saw Aya was back, so excited. Man, I can't wait for her to at least link up with Razor at some point. And I was just like,
someone hasn't read 25 yet.
Get caught up, sir, but I didn't want to say it because, you know.
Yeah. Let's see here. Reading comic books. Okay. So this will work for you too. Were you reading comic books back during Emerald Twilight after the death of Superman? Were you mad about how? And what do I think now? That's kind of the era where I wasn't reading GL. I've since caught up, but at the time I wasn't reading it. And so by the time I started rereading those issues, because I subscribed to that Green Lantern volume 3, it's volume 3, right? The 1991?
Yeah.
I subscribed for 2 years to that book. And so I got like 24 issues and then stopped. So I didn't make it to Emerald Twilight. But once Kyle Rayner was introduced, I kind of went back and I'd done it. I've been rereading those as well. So that's been nice. But as far as what they did with Hal, I mean, really by the time I got back into comics with the Jeff Johns run, like Jeff Johns kind of fixed all that. So I was a little like, I remember going to like comic book shops and seeing like Hal Jordan as Spectre in toys. And I'm like,
yeah,
I was a little bit like, oh, whatever. But I always loved Kyle. So it was one of those things where it's like, it kind of took the sting out of that a little bit. But I never really had a problem with it. Comics do stuff like this all the time, you know. So-and-so turns bad. Even like the Zack Snyder's Justice League, where it's like Superman is evil. Like everyone's, it's something that's been going on forever. But I do like the way Jeff Johns came in and sort of gave explanations on why Hal turned. With the destruction of Coast City, he let down his guard. He allowed fear to enter him, and fear is actually an element that's in the power battery. And like setting up the entities and stuff is so great. It's added a lot of lore to Green Lantern. So I guess ultimately I'm not mad at any of that, because if anything bad happens, there's always someone to come along and right the ship, like Jeff Johns did. And I kind of feel the same way about Jeremy Adams, especially after the previous run with Jeffrey Thorne, which I wasn't really keen on. So it's one of those things where it's like, just kind of got to stick with it, and someone will come along and fix anything you don't like, or they'll make it worse.
It's one of the gifts and the curses at the same time. It's a double-edged sword, comic books, because it very rarely is anything completely permanent in comic books. Things can be undone all the time. I mean, look at how many reboots we've had of like DC in its entirety. You know, plenty of stories that have started over. Characters act a certain way in one run, and then they're different in another. So it's like, I always try to just take those things for what they are at the time, knowing that at some point there's going to be a different writer who gets put on the story, or they're going to reboot and it'll be a different writer, and then we're going to get another new take of a character. What I do appreciate is that they give reasonings for doing what they're doing, which they did with, you know, the whole Spectre stuff. They do with, you know, when Hal is parallel. Like, it's not just like a switch is flipped, the character's acting super weird, completely out of character for them based on everything they've ever done in the past, and then we don't really get any payoff or explanation to it. And yeah, I just think that as long as they do that, I know at some point probably the character that I know and love is going to come back around. But it's good to get new stories at the same time and keep things fresh. Otherwise, you know, the new comics don't sell, and the character eventually dies out because they're not going to keep writing for, you know, characters that don't move people to the point that they want to pay for the comic books.
Right. There was the like, we went through that recently with like Jessica Cruz just sitting behind a desk. I think we were both kind of like, this isn't Jessica.
Yeah, not the ideal spot that I would like her in.
Yeah, and then in the book, she was called out by a character, Joe. And like, this isn't you. And I was listening to Lantern Cast, and they were saying, why wasn't it Simon that noticed that? And I was like, yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, hey, listen, I would much rather Jeremy Adams and Morgan Hampton take all of these characters and give them all their equal time and have them sort of have something to do, because Jessica is someone's favorite Green Lantern. Simon is someone's favorite Green Lantern. Someone probably is only reading Green Lantern because the first thing they ever read containing Green Lantern was Far Sector. So for me, it's like, it's nice that even though it, like, listen, he's dealing with how many Earth Lanterns now? Like 7 or 8? There's a lot.
There's a lot.
And for everybody to kind of get their moment to shine has been really nice. And I don't blame either of the writers on Green Lantern Corps, Green Lantern, to be able to, like, fully understand every single aspect of every single character and get it 100% correct. So it's one of those things where it's just like, when it comes to like Emerald Twilight and stuff, I'm like, hey, listen, man, this is like soap operas. Like, these are stories that happen all the time, month after month, multiple books, like different writers, different ideas, different concepts. And it's just like Grant Morrison's run. Like, didn't have like Jon Stewart or Kyle or anybody like that. It was literally just Hal Jordan. And it's like, okay, it's a different flavor. Relax. Don't worry about the canon. Just try to enjoy the story as much as you can without like having it get into your head too much.
I just had to do that for this Green Lantern run with Jeremy Adams when we were like 4 or 5 issues in, and we went to Night Terrors for 2 issues, and I was just like, I know he has to do it because it's a big DC tie-in, but there's nothing about Night Terrors that I really liked.
Right, and I have questions about that.
And then we came back, and now things are back to normal again, and I get this version of Hal that I like.
And who even knows, like, from the you know, the editor of DC and stuff, like, who, like, how is this, like, we don't know all the stuff that's happening. It's like a movie. It's like, you know, like, look at Zack Snyder does Justice League, and then this tragedy happens to him, and then they bring in, like, the best guy they can find for the job, the guy who, like, made the Avengers, and it just, you don't know what's happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You don't know when DC's going to be like, oh, you're going to have to tie into this other thing. I think Jeff Johns was lucky in the fact that the crossover events he had to deal with were based on his storyline. Like, Blackest Night had spin-offs. Everybody else had to, like, bow to Green Lantern, which was nice. But now Green Lantern is kind of lower, has to kind of bow to what the rest of the DC comics are doing. But again, it's like soap operas. Like if I put on Days of Our Lives right now, and the character Marlena is still there after, like, she's been on the show since a year after I was born. And you know what? Like 30 years ago, she was possessed by a demon. Like, full-on contacts in the eyes, hovering above her bed, like possessed by a demon. And, like, they don't talk about that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you got to just keep, if you're constantly putting out stuff over the course of Showcase 22 just had something like their 52nd anniversary or something crazy. They can't all be great. They can't all be great. I think what Jeremy Adams is doing is really fun and interesting and new, and is probably the best thing since Venditti. Probably better than Venditti. So I would say the best thing since John's. But I did like Venditti's run. But it's one of those things where I'm just like, remember what we had?
Yeah.
Remember when we had 0 Green Lantern books? Or just 1? Like, we're good. I think we're good. And also, look at where Jeremy Adams is at issue 25 as opposed to, like, Jeff Johns. Like, he's got a lot of his plate on his plate to work with. And we're just getting into where, like, Jeff Johns was in Sinestro Corps War. So, like, this is kind of all set up for this Fractured Spectrum and the Starbreaker stuff. So, yeah, long story short, I was cool with Emerald Twilight and how they treated Hal. There's one more question I have here, and you're going to be able to help me with this because you're following this. This comes from Vactor, who joins me on the Green Lantern Corps episodes. Who are all of the confirmed Lanterns so far for the show? And I'm assuming it's Lanterns. So we know we got John and Hal.
Yes. So you have
Green Lanterns.
John Stewart being played by Aaron Pierre,
right,
who just won awards for his performance in Rebel Ridge. You have Hal Jordan being played by Kyle Chandler, who people probably know from some of, like, the Godzilla-type movies, but also Friday Night Lights.
Right.
You know, Clear Eyes, Full Hearts, Can't Lose. A lot of people know that.
Yeah.
Then you do have Guy Gardner being played by Nathan Fillion, who will be coming over for at least a few episodes.
Right.
And then from there, we have Sinestro, played by Ulrich Thompson. Those are the confirmed characters that we know for sure. And then we have unconfirmed where we think maybe either Garrett Dillahunt or Jason Ritter playing William and Billy Macon.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be, the name William and Billy is short for William. I know because my name.
Yeah.
If they were at like the Church of the Hand,
right.
One of those two may end up becoming Black Hand in the show.
Right.
There's some theories that maybe we see Atrocitus in the show. And then who knows? Who knows from there? What else?
There's some character descriptions that sound like Atrocitus, some that it could possibly sound like Kilowog, but confirmed, those are the 4 confirmed. Sinestro, Guy, Hal, John. Now, as soon as you brought up Nathan Fillion returning, I thought of something, and everybody's saying, Nathan Fillion's confirmed that he only has had a scene with Aaron Pierre, not Kyle Chandler. And people are like, of course, Reddit's like, that means Kyle Chandler's dead. And so this is what I think.
There's other things you can do besides killing a guy just because you don't film with him,
This is as soon as you mentioned Nathan Fillion, I was like, you know what? What if Nathan Fillion's in the first episode? What if Hal's done? Hal's retired. He's grizzled. He's old. He's like, I'm not going to be a Green Lantern anymore. So the Guardians sent Guy to kind of prep John, who is brand new. And he talked about Hal Jordan, but it's like, you're never going to get that dude. That dude's done. That dude's done with being a Green Lantern. Yeah. And then later is when John convinces Hal to go check out this thing. Maybe he said, hey, there's this murder. My ring told me I should investigate. I don't fully understand what's going on, but you got to check this out. Listen. And then they go and do this thing, and there's some sort of, they said this town is full of superpowered beings. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe Guy is just there to be like, to give him like a heads up, like, hey, this is what the Green Lantern is. I came to check on you. Are you cool? Because the history of John and Guy is pretty great. We got some John and Guy in Green Lantern 25. And so I'm thinking maybe Guy just dips in at the beginning, talks to him, and then bounces to go do his Justice Gang shit while John has to figure it all out. I don't know.
I also think, there's sometimes actors say things that aren't always 100% true. I'm trying to find what the exact quote was. I know I did a video on it, but I think what his exact quote was, it was along the lines of like, he dropped more F-bombs in Lanterns than he did in anything else in his entire career. Mm-hmm. And then when it came to Kyle Chandler, I think he said like, I mostly only film scenes where I almost only film scenes with Aaron Pierre, where it made it sound like the door might be open a little bit, where there may be a scene or two between Guy and Hal, without completely ruling it out.
Like their schedules didn't match up, so they had stand-ins.
But yeah, I mean, in regular conversation, just the way that it read, it did very much sound like they didn't have any scenes together at all.
Yeah. I can't wait. I feel like, so next week I don't have a show set up just yet. I think I might do Justice League New Frontier with my friend Kayla. I'm going to ask her to come on. But I kind of feel like that we're going to get something Lanterns related real soon.
Well, filming's done. So now they're just in VFX cleanup phase, and then you have the team that gets together to start to market the show, and the other team that starts coming up with teasers and trailers and audio bits and starts scheduling interviews to get people out in front of people to advertise the show. So we should be getting to that point soon. I know a lot of people have been pointing to October seems like the most likely spot to drop like some sort of teaser, like a video because it'll be New York Comic Con.
This is what I'm thinking is going to happen. This is a theory. We'll see if it comes true or not. When it comes to marketing, Superman still doing great at the box office. It was number 3 last weekend. It's a hit.
Yeah.
And people seem to have been coming to my channel and checking out like Nathan Fillion stuff, Guy Gardner stuff. Like Guy Gardner, again, loved by everybody. I haven't seen a single person say, man, Guy Gardner was stupid. I hate that character. He shouldn't be in the movie. Nathan Fillion's dumb. No one has said anything. It's all
he was
positive.
Great.
Here's what I want. I want the next teaser image to be Guy Gardner from Lanterns, so that people like who are still have Superman on their mind, maybe when the digital release happens in a few weeks, people are like, oh shit, I like that guy in Superman. What's this now? And hoping it's a new costume. Maybe he's in his civilian gear. I don't know. But I think a good marketing strategy would be for people to get hyped about Green Lantern or get hyped for Lanterns is a new image of Guy Gardner.
I mean, I'll take anything at this point. I know he's in the same thing in Peacemaker, but I think he's just in like that.
I think it's just that one scene.
Not an interrogation, but like an interview. Like an interview scene. Yeah. I would love to see at this point. Show me something with John. That's what I really want. Like,
I want to see John's ring.
Guy makes sense, especially if Superman did great, and then if Peacemaker does numbers too. Why would you not, market the crap out of Guy, knowing that this is what regular folks are probably more familiar with than.
Do you think that we'll get a Lanterns tease as a post-credit scene in Peacemaker? Because Lantern's the next thing after Peacemaker, right?
Well, I don't know, because Peacemaker should be coming out soon, right? Like this month.
Like in a couple weeks, yeah.
And they just wrapped Lanterns in July. This is coming out in August. It might be too soon. But if you're just doing like a 1 minute or a 2 minute, you could show something for sure.
I mean, Hal Jordan at a bar, like, because it looks like that's where he's at. It sounds like, yeah. I'm all for it, whatever it is. Like, I need something. I really, really need something. I can't wait.
I'm just ready for early 2026. That's when they keep saying it's going to come out. I'm ready for it now.
But marketing should be happening like soon.
I think the latest right now
is going to be April. I think the latest for Lanterns will be April start because they don't want to overlap with Supergirl.
Correct.
So, I mean, April's what, 8 months away?
You've got like Superman's out. It's going to come to like streaming and DVD here soon, and I know James Gunn is filming his like director's cut notes or whatever, like to add to the DVD. So they're going to have to promote that, and then the big push right now is promote Peacemaker.
Right.
And then after that, you don't really have anything.
It's Lanterns.
Lanterns is the next thing, so it should be getting all.
It's got to be soon
of DC's push at that point. And DC's coming off of, I mean, I don't know how Creature Commandos did because I don't expect animated shows to do the numbers of like live action. Right. But while it wasn't a DCU connected project, Penguin was the last DC live action show that was out on HBO, and it did great.
Right.
Lanterns will be the next live action show that HBO has. I'm expecting big things.
Yeah, and the way they're talking, everyone's saying it's like the best sci-fi script ever. Listen, the studio heads are going to, of course, prop this thing up. But they're saying,
they got a studio head.
Yeah, but they're saying like, this is like on the level of like the greats, and they're expecting awards. And I'm like, just listen, just show me something. So you can tell me, you can blow all the smoke up my ass you want. Show me something. Let me see the direction this is going. Let me see the outfits. So
to me, something that gets me excited about Lanterns is when they've given like James Hawes the opportunity to talk about the show itself, and the public has had this fear that by grounded it means we're never leaving Earth or anything like that. He gets a chance to talk about it, and he straight up tells you, like, no, like, yeah, we're gonna start grounded, but like we'll get there. Like, other people who have interviewed have mentioned things like they name drop the Guardians, which they're not bringing the Guardians to Earth.
Right.
And then Porna Jaganathan, who's going to play Zoe, which is William Macon's wife, Garrett Dillahunt, in the show Lanterns. She talked about sci-fi isn't really her thing. Comics aren't really her thing. But when she gets this script and she can read it and everything just makes sense to her.
Yeah.
And it's like you can get thrown into this world, but here's somebody who's like, she's kind of like the fit for what the general audience is. There's going to be a lot of people who tune in because it's an HBO thing who aren't necessarily comic book fans.
Right.
And if they make a Green Lantern-based show that checks the boxes for the hardcore fans and it still makes sense enough to just the casual viewer, oh man, we can have a hit on our hands. And there's nothing like having, like, you can love comic books all you want, but you have to acknowledge that a hit TV show or a hit movie can absolutely cause a massive boom in the fandom for whatever that IP is. Like, if you really nail a movie, like Lord of the Rings, all this time later, people will still talk about it potentially being one of the greatest, series of books ever written. But when you have the original trilogy come out and it's back to back to back great movies, it kept Lord of the Rings relevant for that much longer going forward.
Right.
Green Lantern 2011 bombed for a lot of people, and we have been the joke in the fandom since that movie, and it hasn't stopped.
Right.
Like, Guy Gardner's the closest thing we've had to fixing it.
Yeah. It's been good. The DCU has been a great jumping on point for Green Lantern fans. And then, so I've been doing a rewatch of Peacemaker and then watching the official Peacemaker podcast with James Gunn, which is like a DC Showcase podcast over on HBO Max, and it's on YouTube. I highly recommend you watch it because the way James Gunn throws around the term grounded is really funny to me. He talks about shit in like Peacemaker that he calls grounded. And like, if you've seen Peacemaker, it's nuts. Like with the butterflies and Judo Master and like listen, I don't fully understand what James Gunn's definition of grounded is. I'd love to have him on the show and find out. But it seems like everybody has their own version of grounded. I think people think grounded is like the Dark Knight. but I don't think that's the level. But if you look at like Watchmen, the series Watchmen.
I was just going to talk about how Lindelof made a grounded Watchmen series, but it still has very comic booky and very fantastical elements to it.
Yeah, you still have like Dr. Manhattan.
Who was on Mars and was doing all sorts of crazy abilities. There's giant squids. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do while the story is still grounded. I think in terms of grounded, they're just looking for like a relatable story that you can actually believe.
Right.
Like, I was just talking about Lord of the Rings. It's probably hard for people to just picture themselves in Middle Earth with orcs and elves and all these places you've never heard of before. But you can tell a grounded story that takes place on Earth. It looks familiar. And then the characters do some crazy sci-fi or fantasy-based things that sort of put it over the top.
Yeah. Let's do one more question. And this is going to be a doozy. This is one I don't know if I can answer, and I might give a bullshit response. I Like Scream and Ice Cream asks, all-time favorite issue?
Mine is going to be very, very controversial. But for me to have
one.
I do, right off the top of my head, because I've read it a lot recently. And I won't get into any plot, but for me, for it to be an all-time great issue, it really really, really has to be a one-off.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to have, like, in a series of 80 comics, one being so much better than the others. The reason that one is great is because of the others have built up to it. So it's got to be a one-shot. And it's the Tom King, Omega Man, Green Lantern, Darkseid story. To me, it's the best Green Lantern one-off.
I haven't read it. I should read it. I should definitely read it. Maybe I'll read it and we can cover it, but yeah, I haven't read it. It's for me, it's impossible to think of one. So I'm going to kind of go a little bit bullshit on this one. This one's going to be a little bit of BS pick, but I've read it a lot. I go back to it a lot. It makes me happy. It brings me joy. Showcase 22. Like, I read Showcase 22 all the time. I've been wanting to reread Showcase 22. I have this version. I have all 7 of these Green Lantern archives. And there's just something about Showcase 22 that just brings me so much joy. Look at those colors. Look at those. Look at all of these words where it says what Green Lantern's doing. It says Green Lantern's thinking about what he's doing, and then it shows you what Green Lantern is doing. It's super redundant. It's really campy. But I mean, I'm a big fan of Abin Sur, and I like this origin story. So for me, I'm going to say my favorite issue of Green Lantern is Showcase 22. Phil, who asked earlier, a great jumping on point if you want to know the character of Green Lantern. Read Showcase 22. Read the first story in that issue. See where it began. And then pick up Green Lantern the Animated Series or pick up Jeremy Adams' run and see where it's gone. You know, where Green Lantern gets a ring from a dying alien and his first mission is to go beat up gangsters. Like, read that. It's so much fun. It's silly. It's campy. It's like Batman 66 TV series with Adam West. Oh, yeah, I need to read that.
It's just a one-off, and I'd read it in the past, but I came back to it because Tom King is obviously one of the writers and executive producers on Lanterns, and he gets a lot of flack for one panel about Hal Jordan in a different comic run.
That panel.
Literally one panel, no context to it, but everybody has their take on it. But I usually use that as my argument too for people who are like, he doesn't know how to write Green Lantern, and I'm like, are you going to take one panel amongst dozens of other heroes in a similar thing, or would you like to read an actual entire single issue comic run that is amazing? And I think that people should read that, and some of their fears would go away.
Yeah. That image pops up like every 3 months on Reddit. Someone else finds it and posts it.
Yes.
Just like, here we go again.
It's a karma farm at this point.
Again, guys, it's hundreds of writers over 80 years, 85 years or something, 84 years. Like, one panel. Calm down.
But also, even if it was more than one panel, your favorite writer's favorite writer in all that he's written you write enough, you do anything long enough, you're going to have a bad take. You're going to have a bad performance here and there. Like, that's natural. People are humans. You're not going to hit every single time that you put something out.
Also, what is will?
It's
the way of saying, well, you're will. But it's like determination. It's drive. It's whatever courage is. It's not necessarily an emotion, but it is because it's in the middle of that spectrum, which Jeff Johns just fucking nailed.
Yeah,
with
genius.
The Roy G. Biv of it all, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, with green being right in the middle. It's almost like the culmination of all your emotions, and not only be able to overcome fear, but to take all those emotions and sort of focus it into determination. And that is willpower, is determination. So, I mean, it's not necessarily an emotion, but it's kind of, I don't. It's like definitely a state of mind. Like, listen, it's like Rocky. We all get beat down, and it's not, how many times you get hit. It's how many times you get hit and are able to stand back up. So for me, it's like willpower is just determination.
Yeah, look at what Kyle Rayner just did in the current run, where they asked him, "Are you still able to be a White Lantern?" And he's like, "I could tap into any emotion, but I'm using all my willpower right now to hold everything in check, so that one of them doesn't become so much that it can cause chaos and destruction everywhere." If you take the internet, like take people's computers and phones away, line up 50 Green Lantern fans and ask them separately, what is willpower? Most of them are not going to give you like a word for word same answer to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. Everybody explains it differently. It means a little bit, like, it's a great question, but I know that it ruffles feathers so much.
So here's the thing. I'll say in the universe, Guardians built the Manhunters. Manhunters policed the universe with no emotions, and they took emotion as being weakness and started destroying everything with emotions. It happened on Yzmal with Atrocitus, where they were killing everybody because they had emotions and thought that was impure. It's like Clue from Tron. He's like, the perfect system. If you want the perfect system, people don't factor into that. So the Guardians, who are fucking fallible like assholes, like they're the worst. They're the worst, like, corporate head boss guys.
For sure.
They use what the Manhunters were using, which was this green energy of will that was kind of emotionless, but it's also at the center of the spectrum of every emotion. So it's almost like, hey, here's this kind of, like, we want people to be able to use this power, but not get over emotional. So here's this sort of thing that, like, people who have great determination and are able to overcome great fear, like, this is the thing. This is what it is. It's whatever. Stop posting that picture, people.
They won't.
Yeah, they won't. And then, but every time I go to one of those and look at the comments, I don't have to throw my hat in the ring because people already got it covered. All the people that dealt with it every single time and time and again, they all like squash down. And someone will say, yeah, reading in context, look at the panels that surround that one panel. And usually there's a lot of good guys out there on Reddit who can sort of teach people about that panel that they got all riled up about.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of Will, thank you for joining me.
Yeah.
That was fun. Yeah.
Always happy to hop on.
So this sort of format, this loose format where I just like answer questions and stuff, this is kind of what's going to happen if you become a $4.99 member on my YouTube channel. I'll do live streams like this. I didn't even like shave or clean up anything.
Me either.
Like, I'm just like,
we'll be all right.
I'm a little scruffy. This is
We're
more
just
how
nerds.
I really am. Yeah. So there'll be member only streams just like this every week or every other week. I'm going to do it bi-weekly. And I think I'm going to do it Tuesdays. So you can get a Tuesday Q&A as soon as I get some $4.99 members, and it'll just be for members. So it might just be me and someone in the chat, and I'll just BS about Green Lantern and answer questions to anybody who has questions. So check out the membership tiers. There's also the 99-cent ones that get you emojis and icon badges for your comments. And then head over to the shop. Check out the Radu stuff. I'm going to add some more tonight before I take off for the week to go work on the movie I'm working on. Yeah, go check out the Fourth Wall. The description it's right in the description, the link. And then once I hit the end roll, you'll see that tomorrow. There's also links to that shop. So I think that's it. Will, thank you. Thank you to everybody who asked questions. Thanks to everybody who was in the live chat. I appreciate it. I'll catch you next week. I'm not sure what the episode's going to be about. Hopefully it's Lanterns news. Hopefully, but we'll see. So until next time, go to the Green Lanterns podcast. Will's uploading his latest video about my adventures with Green Lantern. I'm going to watch that while I eat my dinner. So go check that out. Thank you, everybody. Until next time, beware my podcast. It's Lanterns Live.